worth reviewing, and this is one of the best cars ever made. I think just about everyone in the world knows what this car is. It's the classic Mini, and it's not only one of the smallest and most popular cars, but it's also one of the, if not the, most iconic car ever produced. Just look at how tiny it looks when you compare it to all the other cars on the road. It makes this car look like a Hot Wheels car. One of the reasons why the Mini is so small is because it's fitted with a transverse engine. Now, before the Mini was born in the late 50s, cars were fitted with longitudinal engines, and what that means is the engine is fitted along with the body. But when Sir Alec Isigonis designed the Mini, he thought, well, let's rotate the engine 90 degrees clockwise, bolt the gearbox under the engine and make it a front wheel drive, which allows 80% of the car's floor pan area for luggage and passengers. And that simple design is still being used 60 years later in modern cars. And because it's so small and has such a short wheelbase, it makes the steering feel proper darty. It's the same sort of feeling you get from driving a go-kart. That's essentially what this car is, a road legal go-kart. There's no traction control, stability control, ABS or power steering. It's just pure car. Powering this little pocket rocket is the A-Series 1275 engine, which is one of the most powerful engines available for the Mini. And because the Mini weighs about 600 kilograms, which is effectively sod all for a car, when you give it some welly, it will go. Listen to that noise. It's not fast, but because it sits so low to the ground and makes a lot of noise, it makes it feel faster. I've got absolutely no idea what it does 0 to 60, the top speed, or how much power it produces, but none of that matters. It honestly doesn't. All that matters is this. This is what it's about. You can have so much fun in this car with not a lot of power, because it feels so enjoyable to drive. Honestly, I don't think I've ever driven a car that has as much character as the Mini.
So it's great fun to drive and sounds brilliant, but like any car, there are a few problems. But before I go any further, this is my own car, so this is more of an owner's point of view.
First of all, because it's an old car, it has the old school aircon system. So when I'm driving it on a hot day, my back quite often turns into a sweaty seat warmer, which isn't particularly pleasant, as you can imagine. And because it's an older car, understandably, it isn't as reliable as most modern cars. I remember the first day I picked this car up and it overheated because it was leaking coolant from one of these. A lot of Mini owners will know what this is. It's a heater valve, and what it does is it adjusts the heating and cooling inside the car. But the problem is, well, it's rubbish. I went through 3 of these in the first year of ownership after they all basically exploded and leaked coolant everywhere. So now what I've done is I've bypassed the system, which means I can't adjust the blower temperature, but it also means that I won't lose any more coolant. Well, at least not from that bit anyway. And another thing which isn't so good is the driving position, because the steering wheel is in the same sort of position as an old London bus. And if you're a lanky driver, your knees will most likely stick out the window because of how small it is in here. And as you can tell, it's not the most comfortable car in the world. even though I'm going on about all the things which aren't so good about the car, none of it really matters because it's all part of the fun. You look back at all those frustrating or bad memories you've had with the car and you just laugh. It's what makes this car so lovable and memorable. It's all part of owning an old classic car. Another part of the Mini I love is the social side, because I've made some great mates just through owning this car. Isn't that right, Teddy? And even when I'm driving through town, a lot of people will look, smile and wave. Either that or they'll look at me like I'm some sort of idiot for making a lot of noise. But it's so nice to bring back those memories that people had when they were younger, growing up, because a lot of them owned one of these or used it as their family car. And it's quite amazing to think that the Mini was once used as a family car, because we now live in a world full of bigger cars and SUVs, and soon enough cars will all be electric and there won't be many cars on the road that make a lot of noise. And even to think that is quite sad, because a lot of the way a car makes us feel is the noise. But anyway, back to the Mini, which is a fantastic car. It's one of those cars that will always put a smile on your face, no matter where you're driving to, unless you break down. But seriously though, it's a car that will never be forgotten, and will no doubt go down as possibly the best car ever produced.